And welcome to Intuitive Journey with Desiree. I am Desiree Holmes, Scherini, your host. And today we're going to be talking about rejection. What is rejection? What does it mean? And more importantly, how do we interpret it when we feel or quote unquote are rejected? The reason for this talk is actually, personal, but universal as well. How many of us have never been rejected? If you've never been or felt rejected, then just click off and come back and listen later. So, yeah, rejection. Okay, you're not picked for the sports team, or nobody wants you to sit at the lunch table. Okay, move forward as life and learning goes on. Somebody else is asked out on that special high school prom date or something, or divorce. Someone wants a divorce, or someone wants to date someone else, or someone says, "No, no, we don't fit. We're done." And of course, the only time that rejection is considered a rejection is when the one, quote unquote, being rejected was all in, or was still hoping, or was still seeing a path forward in whatever that was. Like still having some sort of hope or anticipation or even encouragement in many cases from the other party, whatever it was, a job, an interview, partnership in whatever way. So sometimes rejections come on slowly and kind of you can expect it, you kind of see it coming. Other rejections come on quite suddenly, and people are blindsided. They're like, wait, where'd this come from? I thought everything was great. And obviously, the other entity, party, group, or whatever, they were not surprised by it. They had anticipated it. So, rejection. Most people, almost all people, at some point in your life, face rejection. And the reason I'm bringing this up in a conversation here today is that we can make a choice. When we encounter what we interpret as rejection, there's a choice to be made, right? There's an opportunity to be encountered. And what do we do with that, right? What do we do? Right? So what do we do with that? We have lots of options. And yeah, if you review some of my past recordings and think about the choices we have choices. We have the opportunity to interpret it and to choose what we do with the information that we're given. So the point of this talk, the point of this conversation, one-weighted, albeit, although I look forward to hearing your comments, is always remember you have a choice. You have the choice to how you're going to choose to interpret and what to do with whatever comes your way. Is it a rejection? Quote unquote rejection? Is it an opportunity? Is it someone offers you something? What if someone says, "Hey, I want to give you a bag of gold. I adore you." You have a choice, just as much as you have a choice with how you mentally receive anything that comes your way. Hence, this talk on rejection. Indeed, being rejected by a group, a person, an entity, a job, whatever it is, that you felt simpatico with, that you wanted to be part of, that you felt in touch with, is much more painful, obviously, than a rejection from something that you were like, oh, well, I actually don't care. So let's move into that area. So say specifically, you're in a marriage, a relationship, and you're rejected. Even a dating situation, you're rejected. You have choices. Here's where you take that personal power. You can say, oh my gosh, I'm not lovable, I'm not likable, nobody wants me. You can go on and create in your own mind all these things that aren't true. Maybe they were true for that particular individual. And if they were true for that particular individual that rejected you, maybe it's more about their desires, their wants, their needs, rather than your own personal value, right? Your own personal value, what you have that is intrinsic, is so much more valuable, like I say, intrinsically, than any other interpretation. So this is where you have to remind yourself, kind of circle back around and say, you know what? How can I say it? That value is personal taste, value is subjective. Everyone who sees one thing is not going to agree to the value, the desire, or the permanence of anything. So say you go to a buffet. I'm sorry, I'm segueing here. Metaphor. You go to a buffet. You and your best friend are at the buffet. Your best friends, obviously you get along. But you don't all choose the same foods. She's like, no, I hate that. And you're like, no, I love that. You have different choices, different values about what you enjoy eating. Okay, now zoom out. Take that same idea and apply it to everyone and anyone that you come in contact with. Job, person, relationship. And ultimately, even if you didn't realize it, you may not always have that same value. And at some point, there may be a point where one party's values or choices shift so much that you're no longer on the same wavelength, as they say, right? And a rejection where someone else makes a choice and says, you know, you don't fit in my realm anymore, does not mean you're not okay. It means you don't fit in their realm anymore. Just as if, same for you, never be afraid to say, hey, I want to talk about this because, obviously there's different ways of doing it. We'll get to that. But never be afraid in a relationship, in a job or a group or whatever it is to say, hey, I've been reviewing stuff and I've been looking at what fits for me, what doesn't fit for me. And here's what I'm seeing. And to say, I'm not seeing myself fitting with whatever it is. I don't see us going the same direction. I don't see the same fit. You could say, let's talk about it. Do we have a way forward or not? Okay. It doesn't mean, blow the thing up. It just might mean make some distance, or it might seem totally cut it apart. Right. But that's, depending on how you and the other entity are, communicating how that works. So on the one hand, being rejected is not being rejected. It just means you're not a match any longer. Not because there's something wrong with you, not because there's anything wrong with them, but more so that everything changes. Everything changes. Go back to my talk on everything changes. Everything changes. Nothing ever stays the same. And sometimes things can, modulate and go apart and come back together if there's interest from both parties to say, yeah, you know what, there's enough that's similar that let's see how we can stay on the same path. Sometimes no, sometimes no. So a rejection needs to be rephrased. Okay. And just as you might need to or want to reject another or a situation, a friendship, a partnership, a job, it just simply means that it's come to a point where they can't merge anymore. There's no merging space. There's no simpatico. There's no mutual benefit. And not to say like it's always a exchange of, mutual benefit, but generally, yes, if there's not a mutual benefit between two parties in a situation, then there needs to be a review. And that's ideally where both parties sit down and have a review. Now I'm going to just jump right over to why a rejection is not a rejection. It doesn't mean it's bad. Guess what? Can we reframe this? A rejection is an opportunity. I'm going to repeat that. A rejection is an opportunity. Think about it in your own mind. Think about the times you've been rejected or you felt rejected or you've got to come from your own point of view. But what happened after that? And it all depended on you, what you chose to do. Even if it was very difficult and uncomfortable, what did you choose to do? And that's why this is important. If you have been quote unquote rejected, you have absolute power on how you choose to incorporate that, how you choose to interpret that, and then what you choose to do about that. Choice number one. Oh, I'm rejected. Wah, wah, wah. Nobody loves me. That's actually perfectly normal. And if you don't do that for at least a week, there's probably something wrong with you. Just kidding a little bit. So yeah, at first it hurts. It depends on, what the situation was. Um, but then as you reflect and you review, what do you do with it? Okay, so that's not an option anymore. I've been rejected. What am I going to do? Guess what? You have absolute autonomy and power to make some new choices, to do, be, and want whatever you desire without any concern for the entity that rejected whatever whatever it was, whatever it was. You're free from trying to please, from trying to fit in, from trying to be part of the rejecting party's dynamic, and be yourself. It opens up a door. It opens a freedom to say, wow, guess what? Before now, I use this with hypnosis a lot. With my clients, I often say, before now, this was like this. You didn't like it. Guess what? Now, guess what? You do, you be, you are whatever you desire. Rejection means you are free. You are free from the constraints of the rejector. I hope this is making a little sense to you. I hope whoever is tuning into this gets a little light switch turned on. The rejector before now had some rules, some boxes you had to fit into, some things that were required of you in order not to be rejected, right? Whatever they were. I mean, rejection is like, it could run the gamut. Okay. So whatever it was, like, yeah, you don't have dark hair, you got blonde hair, you got blonde hair, dark hair, you're not tall, you're not short, you don't have a law degree, you do have, you see what I'm saying? Like, it could run the gamut, whatever rejection is. So whoever had the power of rejection, once you've been rejected, you're free of that paradigm. All those walls are broken down. You're a free agent. You choose. You choose who you are, how you want to feel, who and what you want to be. So the purpose of this particular conversation is reframing rejection into opportunity to absolutely have the freedom to rethink, redo, and reapproach life, your life, from your own paradigm, your own choices, your own, like, whatever you go into now is into the box of your realm. You get it? Rejection is a gift. It's a gift to stop fitting into someone else's box and make your own. I hope this made sense to you. I hope this helps you stop and think that rejection is not a punishment or something to grieve over too long. It's a gift. It's a gift of freedom to be you and to choose. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time on Intuitive Journey with Desiree. Bye-bye.